Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Maria. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes now. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own Our Bodies, Ourselves story. And I'm going to introduce you to the new initiative that we have been working on at Suffolk that people have been referring to, that we're calling Our Bodies, Ourselves Today. And I am going to just say a little bit about myself because a lot of you don't know me or don't know why we're doing this here at Suffolk. And so hopefully when you know a little bit about me, you'll see what the connection is. I was raised by a very feminist mother, okay? Very feminist. And she kept a copy of not only Ms. Magazine, but also Our Bodies, Ourselves in the bathroom, okay? So me and my sister, starting at age of about 8 or 9, would go in there and look at Our Bodies, Ourselves. And it was intoxicating. It was thrilling. It was frightening sometimes because as a prepubescent, girl, it was like, really? We're going to do all that? It's kind of, looking at the pictures but mostly it was so kind of exciting and just made us feel good about being girls and that we were going to grow up and be women and, it all just was a very kind of positive experience. And, we started kind of having connections in various ways with Our Bodies, Ourselves. A very good friend of my mom's actually moved out here and became a contributor to one issue, and we saw her name in the book. This is Becky Sarah. And we were so proud, all of us out in Palo Alto, California, where she had come from. I mean, at that point, we were just over the moon that we know somebody who's listed in Our Bodies, Ourselves. It was just like such a thrill. Through my mom, me and my sister were involved in all kinds of feminist, things just as kids. But so that I think really kind of set the stage for the work that I would do later on. But another thing that really shaped my kind of passion for and deep commitment to women's health and sexuality is that my mom got sick with cancer when I was only 13, and she died when I was 14. And she was 38. And going through that and just seeing, from a child's perspective, but seeing kind of her relationship with the healthcare system and kind of how, everybody was kind of trying to make sense of it or trying not to talk about it or just the whole experience of that really, obviously affected me in many ways, but really shaped my trajectory. And I do feel like I want to just acknowledge her. Her name was Judy Agigian. And I feel like, she's kind of here in spirit tonight. So, big hand to Mom. I went to UC Santa Cruz. I became a women's studies major. I wrote about midwifery in one of my classes, and I used Our Bodies, Ourselves. I went to Brandeis for my PhD, where I studied with Irv Zola. Can we acknowledge Irv Zola? An amazing feminist man who basically invented the field of disability studies and who is the late husband of Judy Norsegian. Really helped me, really taught me a lot. I worked at Our Bodies, Ourselves when I was a grad student. Just kind of got a little office job there for a year or two. Just kind of opened the mail and hung out. I was in heaven. I was like, I'm in Our Bodies, Ourselves. I was starstruck, even though I was so happy. I was getting to meet people and see they're real people, not, just icons. But then when I finished my PhD, I came to Suffolk. I teach feminist classes. I inherited a class called Women in Health, from Alexandra Todd, who was my department chair at the time, who many of you know. She was also a contributor. Get a hand for Alexandra. I still teach women in health, teach women in contemporary society, law, health, and human rights, sex and society. I just taught that. I think we got a couple of people here who were in that class. Anyway, I founded the Center for Women's Health and Human Rights in 2003, really in part because of the inspiration of working at Our Bodies Ourselves in 1995 when the whole conference was going on in Beijing, and just so much energy about women's health and sexuality, women's rights, and the international language of health and human rights. For women, it was just so exciting and powerful. I'm just going to mention the three, what I consider the three, thank you, maybe I'll skip that. I'll just skip that part. We've done some stuff, okay? We've done some stuff at the center. Well, I'll just mention one. Okay, we had a Master of Arts in Women's Health program for not quite 10 years. But this was also a time that we worked very closely with Our Bodies Ourselves, and Judy in particular was on our advisory board, and she taught our women's health advocacy class, so our students were very lucky to have that. And that program put about 100 young and not so young women, graduated that many women who are now out in the world doing awesome, amazing work on women's health and human rights and sexuality. So we're very proud of that. Okay, so there's a long connection. I've had a long connection with Our Bodies Ourselves, I think like so many women. So when they were going through changes last year, it seemed like a really great opportunity to think about how the center might, or whether the center might be able to get involved and try and, help keep some of its mission going. Obviously, it's still going strong in very many ways, but with the changes happening, we wanted to see if there was something we could do. And basically, through a lot of conversations, wide-ranging conversations, with Our Bodies Ourselves people and with other people, we came up with what we are now calling Our Bodies Ourselves Today. And I'm going to just take the next 2 minutes to tell you about that. In a nutshell, Our Bodies Ourselves, as most of you all know, it originally addressed the problem of a lack of access to information about women's health and sexuality, right? Among other problems with the medical system. Today's problem is that we have too much information about women's health and sexuality. And much of it is terrible, right? Mm-hmm. It is more scattered. It is unverified, it's inaccurate, it's biased, it is profit-driven, it looks at women's health too narrowly, it has an agenda that is not a feminist one, right? And women who fall outside the most privileged strata by virtue of their race, their class, their immigration status, sexuality, size, whatever, are often least able to access the relevant and trustworthy information about their health that they need. So we are designing Our Bodies Ourselves Today to address the current problem and to basically we're using a curation model where we're not creating new information unless we really need to, then we will. But we're drawing together the information that is already out there that is the most useful and relevant to women's lives and the most contextualized, and vetting it and curating it by experts who are diverse themselves. So we're not, for example, one of the sections is heart health. We're not just having cardiologists on the heart health area, the heart health panel, We are having people with all different perspectives, including especially women as women. Women who have experienced what it's like to live their lives with this particular, with a heart, right? And dealing with, I mean, that's just one example. Okay, so we are, okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit here. We are engaging a new generation of feminists, feminist activists and scholars, practitioners, and policymakers. We want this to be relevant to, these generations as well, to all generations, while we continue to engage with and build on the existing and amazing feminist health networks and their ongoing work. So we're not reinventing the wheel, but we are building networks. We're drawing on networks. We're building networks. We're drawing together people who have skin in the game. It's a really scary time right now in this country and on the planet. And this is space we can still take up, and we want to take up the space. And we want to help bring together something that not only forwards women's health, but also forwards a movement for justice, for health justice, and human rights. So I want to close by encouraging you to participate, okay? This is not something that is just, even though it's housed and it's kind of centered here, if you will, at Suffolk, this is something that can really only, Our Bodies, Ourselves Today can really only succeed if there are hundreds of people contributing. And we're not only a source of going to be a source of information, but we're going to be a community. So one of the most important ways that you can be part of this community is to contribute something. And I actually have what I think is a fun, cool thing, which is completely optional. But if you want to support Our Bodies, Ourselves Today, you can text. You can get out your phone and you can text the letters OBOST to the numbers 41444. You see what I mean? I know you're looking like, what is she talking about? It's a way that you can donate through your phone. So, okay, the number is 41444. And all you do when you type in that number is you text OBOST, which is Our Bodies, Ourselves Today. Yeah. Thank you. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Okay, so we have been working with an amazing group of young women to develop Our Bodies, Ourselves Today. You clapped for them earlier, and two of them are on the stage right now. And so without, they're fantastic. So it's so great to see their passion and their brilliance and their dedication to carrying on the legacy of Our Bodies, Ourselves, and making it their own.